Good morning, everyone. It's your friend Rick, back again, second time on November the 16th, 2017. If you need to reach me because you wish to make a donation and you have a couple of questions before you make the donation, you can do that by sending a brief email, just the facts. Divorced or, not married, who issued the support order, was it a judge, when, and who, what, where, when, and how. All right, and the email is Rick, RICK 0327 @me.com. All right. I did a video earlier this morning. I just wanted to, celebrate and listen. This is not. Don't anybody take it like I'm gloating. I'm not. But I want to show you that it can be done. Okay, and I forced them to do it. They did not want to do this for me. Okay, but I backed them in such a corner that they had no choice. And I also took steps along the way that I sued the one family court judge, who I never met, by the way, who just, when I file objection, when you file an objection in New York anyway, the paperwork goes to a judge who reviews stuff and then writes some bullshit down to deny your objection. And this judge that I had, Fran Lubo, she was retired now. She was just like, she would issue like these 6 or 7 page responses to my objections. My objections were so strong and based on facts and laws, and she was making up so much bullshit just to cover the support magistrate. And she ordered the support magistrate to retroactively go back to 2007 and change my child support order, which is based from a contract. A lot of you out there, and I want you to listen to this, for those of you out there that are divorced and you're paying child support based on a child support agreement, like a stipulation of settlement, it's usually called. That is the ruling document. It's a contract. A contract cannot be changed. It can only be unfounded or vacated because it's found to have been based on fraud. The terms are unconscionable, like a lot of these old music people from the 50s and like the group with the girls, TLC. They got out of their contract because they were unconscionable, because they were, if they had good, impartial legal representation, they would have never agreed to those contracts. So, an unconscionable contract can be vacated by a court. But what these child support people are doing is they're modifying. One, they're enforcing as if it's their order. Well, you got to pay child support because we're enforcing that. They cannot enforce a contract because they're not a party to it. Okay, that's why if you hear me say they're a third party debt collector, a third party, they're an unnamed third party. They're not named to the case. They're not a petitioner and they're not a respondent. So they have absolutely nothing to do with the case at all. All right? A first-year law student would learn this, but they don't do this, these attorneys. Okay? They're not allowed to modify it. It's like the video with Doug on Sunday. They went and they modified the judgment. Now they did that to Doug also. Doug was imprisoned So if he wants to fight that, he could probably even fight that. What they do is they issue these divorces based on default, okay? Because he did not respond, okay? But they knew where he was. It wasn't hard to find. He was probably in prison somewhere, as he claimed in the video. I have paperwork for that as well. I have you guys, when I send you the paperwork, I send you a folder, affidavits to be filed before going to court. And it has its own instructions. And I tell you what affidavits to file. Now, if you're getting ready to go to court in the near future, you're going to submit the special appearance affidavit, which is also an objection, and it's also demanding evidence of an injury in fact. Okay? Without an injury in fact, the petitioner lacks standing. So how do we find out if we have to see the evidence? So we're demanding that they respond. So what happens when they don't respond? Rick, they didn't get back to me. We file a dismissal on default because they defaulted. If they don't answer the allegations that we're making, that's called a rebuttal. If you don't rebut it, it stands as true. So child support is based on presumptions. All right? The reason why they make you do paternity is because they don't want it to be a presumption. They want it to be a fact. And then from there, they can say, well, he's the father, he has a duty to pay child support, and that's it. And that's how they go about destroying your life. All right? But what I want you guys also to realize is that the child support, okay, it's not a mandatory thing, because I told you guys in my past videos that if you're not causing the state to intervene on behalf of the child, which the only time the government can do that, and this is a Supreme Court case called Troxel versus Granville, Troxel versus Granville, Granville, okay? And what it says is that the government or the state cannot interfere on behalf of a child unless the child is in imminent fear of danger, like safety. That goes for child support as well, guys. Okay? So, they cannot interfere. So what they're doing is, because it's a for-profit business, I've shown in the past, I have documentation that over here in Queens, New York, the Queens Family Court is a registered, with the Department of State, a registered not-for-profit business. But I thought it was a court, right? It's a registered not-for-profit business. So that means when they say it's not for profit, it's for profit. They're using different tax loopholes. Okay? So that's the reason why they're set up that way. Well, I guarantee you in your area, look up your state, the Department of State. You live in Nevada. Department of State, Nevada. Maryland, Department of State, Maryland. And there are ways by looking these things up. That's what I did. I mean, I sometimes I like today I could do a video, you guys, and show you guys that I got off child support. But if I take a minute to sit down and think about what I went through, I mean, I went through hell. I mean, I really went through hell. I mean, I did a video last year talking about depression and stuff. I've been there, done that with you guys. I talked early in the video this morning about dreading the mail, the postal delivery person. Like, if I got nothing in the mail that day, it was like I could celebrate till the next day, if you can understand that. So it was like a 24-hour reprieve. All right, and this is what they do to you. It's just such a vicious situation to be in, that I know because I went through it with you guys, and sometimes I get a little upset, like in the video this morning, where I wasn't upset, but I'm like, there should be more than 198 views on Doug's video. I mean, Doug's video proved a lot of things, and it's not a promotion for me. I'm not promoting me. I'm promoting that the methods that I use, and it's important for you guys to learn, is proof positive that what they're doing is really illegal. It's fraudulent. And then we have to go about proving these things. Now, what I do is, and I used to do this stuff, like when I don't write nasty things anymore. I don't go out and call them frauds. I don't call them criminals. Like, there's another video, and he's got good stuff, so I'm not bad-mouthing the guy at all. I'm subscribed to his channel, and I listen to his videos sometimes. Sovereign Living, but like I read his paperwork where, he calls them Satanists and stuff. Like, that's not going to go over good. So like the video I pointed at this morning, where I said I didn't want to go back and watch it because it brings back bad memories, where I'm, arguing my case before the judge, how I got to stay, the August 22nd video, or the Rita Quo Warrento video, where I got the stay. Okay, but if I would have gone in there, calling the judge a Satanist and all, I would have been thrown out of there so fast. A lot of these referees are trained so good that what they do is they purposely get you angry, so that way you get escorted out of there. That's what this the woman that I was dealing with, Sudeep Kaur, she's like an expert at that. Her whole goal is to get you mad, and that way she gets the court officers to throw you out of there. Okay, that's what they do. They have all of these little ploys to keep you out of court. All right, and the goal is this, stick within their rules. We have enough evidence against them that we can use their own rules against them. So there's like no reason for the name calling, no reason to accuse them of fraud. Okay, that could go on later on. Let's just get that support order vacated. Okay, and I did it. I made a mistake this morning with my math because it's early in the morning and I'm a little extra dopey. More dopey than I usually am. I usually make one or two dopey mistakes in video anyway. Not like on hardcore facts, but like I'll mispronounce a word. I recognize that. You guys want to make fun of me on that? Go have a good time with that. I can laugh at myself. All right. But I said it was 14 months. No, it was 26 months. So I got an order vacated 26 months after it was issued. Almost to the day. Well, actually, I got it on the day. I realized it on the. It was it was vacated on the 16th, but it was issued on September 23rd, and I wasn't there. They notified me, and they issued a default order. And this is what they do when they scare you not to to come to court. I tell people. I tell people to go anyway. If they mail you something, I don't, this is, me and Amin Osiris, I'm friends with him, and he's my boy. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this video, all right? But he has he thinks that if they don't serve you the right way, you send it back. I'm scared. He's right, but I'm scared. Because it happened to me. Not that, I just wasn't notified. So when I wasn't notified, they hit me with $40,000 in arrears. And let me tell you, that was an extra $1,100 a month added to my already inflated child support. And it took me 26 months to get rid of that. So for 26 months, they stole $28,000 almost from me. Okay? So if you get something in the mail, he says to write on something to send it back. I philosophically have a difference in that, because all they got to do is claim that you got it, and that's just one more thing you got to fight. Okay, so if they mail you something in the mail, I would go, just because of what happened to me. Okay, and another subscriber of mine, it happened to him as well. He received it by regular mail. He wrote something on it, sent it back, and he got screwed over. Right? They did basically the same thing to him as they did to me. They hit him with arrears and a default judgment, and it's just, you know what? Why not, submit good paperwork and force them to show evidence? Okay, that's what my paperwork does. And I'm telling you, I told you in the video this morning, the clerks, they're all fighting my paperwork, especially now that I got it on the pleadings paper that I showed you this morning. All right, remember I did a video where I said, you look up writ of mandamus, and then you put it in the Google search, and then when you get a hit, then you click on images and you see actual pictures of orders. Well, you'll see that if you go through all the photos, you'll see several images with pleadings paper. Well, by using the pleadings paperwork, we just took another reason for them not to accept our paperwork. Okay, I've had several people of mine in California and different areas where they're busting their chops, saying, "Well, it's not in the right format." Okay, well, they can't do that anymore. All right, I transferred all my old, the way I did it, onto the pleadings format. All right, so people now, when they're submitting the paperwork, you get the response like I told you guys this morning. When the clerk says to the clerk employee said to my subscriber, what's the name of the lawyer that's helping you? Now let's say it was an actual lawyer. They would go out of their way to hurt that lawyer. Okay, these lawyers, they have their own code and their own unwritten rules, okay, that they got to maintain. Okay, that's they got their own little club, okay, the Bar Association, and everything that they do is to make sure that money is flowing into their pocket. I think there might be one lawyer out there, and he's like a pariah to other lawyers. In San Francisco, he's the only lawyer that sues other lawyers. Think about that. There's plenty of instances, maybe with several of you are watching my video, where your lawyer practiced they call it legal malpractice. Lawyer is, you heard of legal medical malpractice? Well, there's legal malpractice, where a legal professional is expected to know or should know, what they're doing when representing you. And several of them, they get away with it all the time, and your only recourse is to sue them for malpractice or sue them under consumer affairs, okay? Because you're paying for a service. But how are you going to find an attorney to do that? You cannot. You cannot find an attorney to sue a judge. That's how tight-knit they are, and how difficult it is. But then, you know, you got to do your homework. And like myself, when did I do it? 2 years ago, in July of 2015, I filed paperwork in federal court, and I did it under the common law thing. And I was completely stonewalled. I showed you guys a video in my videos. If you go through it, you can find it. And they stonewalled me. But what all right, so I didn't prevail. I should have prevailed, okay? But I wasn't willing to go to court and get arrested, okay? That's the only way I would have prevailed. If I would have went to federal court and made a beef, like walk into the judge's courtroom. I did that. I went in there, and there was a case proceeding, and she recognized me, the federal judge, and she had me removed because she claimed that it was some type of secret proceedings. And it was, involving some Muslim people. And, courts are supposed to be open to the public. All right? If there was a secret proceedings, they should have been on the front door walking in. But she recognized me. So, but anyway, because of doing that is another reason why I believe that my order got vacated by this judge, because they all read my paperwork and they know I have a clue. So, anyway, I believe that it's all the little things that you do that pays off at the end. Okay? So, I'm going to shut the video down. But one more thing. I've done plenty of videos with you guys where I talk about the writ of mandamus, and I still get you guys emailing me, well, Rick, I sent the paperwork to my employer, and my employer is not going, they're afraid of child support, and they're going to keep sending them money. What do I do? I don't know. I've only said it probably, 25 times, maybe more, that you got to file a writ of mandamus. And I did whole videos on this, and I don't know if some of you guys are watching the whole video. You're probably not. Remember I did the video, I think you guys stick around for like the first 5 minutes and then you're gone because you didn't get the magic bullet, Well, I keep telling you guys there's no magic bullet. If I wanted to get like a 2,000 hits in one day, because I got almost 5,000 subscribers. Probably half of them don't watch my videos anymore. They forgot to unsubscribe. But all you gotta do is say, I know how to get off child support. Contact me. I have like 2,000 hits in no time. Okay? You guys, a lot of you guys that are on YouTube, it's called clickbait, right? And some of you put up something, and everybody goes to that channel, and it's just to get you there. You know what I mean? Like Kim Kardashian's sex video, and you click on it, and you get there, and it's nothing. It's just bullshit. Okay, but seriously, there's a lot of information I give, and I've mentioned it numerous times that when your employer is not willing to stop taking your money, and they just keep claiming that the income withholding order is the reason why, you have to take them to court. You got to file a writ of mandamus. All right, I told you guys this story. I had a couple people already. They've been contacted by the child support agency, or the child support agency is fighting very hard to stop it because it's a remedy. They cannot bring into court. Your employer is not going to be able to go to court and say, well, I'm sending the money, I'm withholding the money because, and they show an income withholding order that you're going to make the court aware of, that it's not a court order, it's not a warrant, and it did not arise from a trial by jury. Okay? I keep telling you guys that if a judgment is not arising from a trial by jury of peers, it's a void judgment. Okay? I got the case law from the New York State Court of Appeals, and I got the Supreme Court decision pre-Civil War. Okay? There's some channels out there, some hardcore channels, smarter than I am, that will say that the pre-Civil War Supreme Court decisions are the ones that you want to have, because a lot of things changed after the Civil War, like the 14th Amendment was never ratified. Okay? All right, the 14th Amendment is technically a void amendment, but I think it could help us, okay? Because a lot of times we'll file these claims like, well, you guys issued a judgment without a trial by jury, and some slick judge will claim, or attorney fighting it by dismissal will say, well, law such and such, let's say we're in Illinois, code such and such in Illinois says that it's a statutory law that says we don't have to have a trial by jury. Well, that's what the 14th Amendment was made to do, because when the slaves were freed, the states had their own laws, not recognizing, the amendment, the 13th Amendment. That's why the 14th Amendment is after the 13th Amendment, because the 13th Amendment freed the slaves, and then the 14th Amendment was created so the states cannot create their own laws, keeping people enslaved. You understand? So the 14th Amendment protects constitutional rights from being subverted by statutes. So that's when it's good to throw in the 14th Amendment, that the state cannot create a law that takes away my constitutional amendment or constitutional right, like the writ of habeas corpus. Okay? Anyway, I went on a bit. All right, so if anybody needs to reach out to me, my email is rick0327@me.com. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people out there using my paperwork, and they're very close right now. Okay? We're getting there. Okay? I'm just telling you, you just got to put the work in. All right? And I'll talk to you guys later.